I'm going to try doing a couple of other balances that, here, let me go back to a normal balance so we get used to it. And I don't know if these are going to completely take because they're very, very rich colors, but these are some DVD covers. So here we go, and hitting balance. Whoa, well, 19,000 K. I think that's going to make it kind of warm in here. So this has made it rather sepia. So if we wanted like a sepia look with just the slightest hint of color, of course you see how that yellow flower, the dahlia, has come through back there. But you can see how the tone on my hand is has become radically sepia. So that's pretty bizarre. Now, even when we come out now, you actually can get the idea that this is still blue. Going to change to one that's very orange. Let me go back to the 5400 so that you can see what normal color is on this. And when I go in and it's a little dark. So my white balance is 2100. And look at how it's made everything like very electric blue. That's kind of an interesting effect if I want to feel like I'm in an aquarium. Whoa. Or if let's say I were doing a club scene, I wanted to have that kind of effect, I would just have to color balance on that orange here. Let's go back and forth and look at how different things are. This is normal, and I have the camera set to kind of dissolve from one color balance into the other. So, you know, it takes a few seconds. I'm kind of going back and forth. Okay, so I can't really look at this while I'm doing it. So what do you think is going to happen if we use this deep green? Well, the opposite of green is magenta, so we should get a color balance that will look very magenta. So I'm going to go back and replace this weird one. And interestingly enough, it says 5400, but 5400 is the basic color temperature, but look at that magenta. That's pretty weird. Okay, so interestingly enough, that yellow flower is so yellow that the colors really don't affect it. Almost the same thing with these two, that they're so saturated that they're able, and these as well. It is a red binder and it is a blue notebook, but they're barely affected. Here, let's go to the preset color, and you see how their colors, they become maybe a little less rich in preset. And now I'm going back to the to this bizarre magenta. So the magenta it's affecting our white, but it's not totally affecting things that don't have white in them. So it's kind of doing a strange effect. So we've been balancing on some pretty wacky things here. What I would like to do is, oh, we have one more thing. We have something that is kind of a magenta pink. So I'll go to this color balance, and and so the opposite of magenta is green. So as you can see, now, once again, these, you can see how wacky my finger is, but these two have barely changed colors. The green is still pretty much green. The yellow is a little greener. The orange has become less orange, but the blue is still blue, and kind of this yellow down here is still pretty yellow. So all this tricking stuff it's kind of interesting how it works. Remember that the white balance is controlling the outputs on the three, the red, the green, and the blue from the camera. Now, let's say you don't have a regular color card, but let's say that I wanted to make something very blue. If I did have some gel, which I happen to have some orange gel, you can see what it looks like here. Now, basically, if I take this and I hold it in front of the camera, and then while I'm holding it in front of the camera, I hit white balance, suddenly it's made everything blue. See how basic, I mean, you lose some exposure, but you can see how that orange gel, now this is actually a correction orange. This orange is kind of the difference between daylight and tungsten, I believe. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, that's it's called full CT orange, or full CTO, and it basically is the color correction to change daylight to tungsten. So let's say we want to go in the opposite direction. Let's say we want to make things very warm. Well, the opposite of that orange is color temperature blue. And so let's, I'm going through, let's just go halfway. I don't want it super orange. So I'm going to color correct it with this blue. Now, that blue looks extra blue because, remember, this, we had white balance to make everything look blue. So let's go back and we'll see what, in a normal white balance, this is how blue that is. I'm going to bring this down a little. Okay, so again, you know, this is a half warm. You know, it does make things kind of warm, but it's just another way of doing things. You know, it's kind of, it may be a nice look if I want, you know, more of a period feel or more of a romantic feel. You can see how things are reading. Now, you know, I keep talking about how this yellow flower isn't affected. Let's see what happens if we try to white balance on this yellow flower. It's going to make it pretty wacky. Okay. Whoa! because there was so much yellow in that. We have become electric. Interestingly enough, the actual color temperature that it says is 2600, but what it's done is it's become crazy at this point. Let's see what, yeah, you can kind of see how wacky my hand is. Now I'm going to go back, and because I can't look at that, let's just go back to a normal color balance here. And I wanted to mention a couple of other things. The first is that, you know, here are two white pieces of paper. But I don't know if you can tell, they actually are slightly different whites. So if you white balance on a piece of paper, that was one at 6300, the other one is 6200. So they actually may be slightly different. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there are a number of just commonly available pieces of art stock that you can get, you know, at Staples or any store that you want. One of them happens to be this kind of light powder blue, which if I white balance on it, I get a, you know, a kind of nice warm feel. And then there's also canary yellow, which, what's the opposite of yellow? It's blue. So this is, you know, this is giving us a very cool feel. But obviously these, you know, these colors are readily available. The thing that you don't want to do is just kind of arbitrarily pick a spot to white balance, because, you know, I'm going to have to go to plus gain. Now, if I white balance here, I have no idea what I'm going to get, because that's an area that there's all kind of light bouncing into it. Yes, the wall is white, but it's bouncing whatever light is coming into it. Actually, it's maybe not that bad, but let's say that, let's try balancing off one of these cabinets, see how weird that gets. You know, the whole idea with white is you want to bring white down to gray and white balance off it to get a normal balance. But if you want to trick your white balance, you have a lot of ways of doing it, and you just have to remember that you go with the opposite color. So you saw how the color wheel works, and whatever color you're balancing on, the camera is going to move in the opposite direction color-wise. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.